Welcome to episode 27 of Beer Bros and BS. This is our final episode of the year 2015. Tonight I'm joined with
Jose,
Alex,
I'm Daniel.
and as always, got a bunch of great beers for you guys. We're going to review. First one's brought to you by me. It's Acadian Grove by Flying Monkeys Brewery. What'd you bring, Jose?
I brought Bell's Expedition Stout.
and I brought Holiday Triple IPA from Black Market.
I brought the 20th anniversary Bourbon Barrel Aged Imperial stuff from Hinterland.
Okay, so before we get started, since I brought the first one, it's the Acadian Groove by Flying Monkeys Brewery. It's a Canadian maple porter coming at 10%. It's got a aroma and taste of maple, some vanilla notes, some roasted malt, based out of Ontario, Canada. What do you guys think about it?
Awesome nose.
Yeah. Great nose.
It's
Great
just
nose.
delicious,
Maple.
delicious maple syrup flavor just
It's maple.
everywhere, man.
Incredible mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Very smooth, creamy.
Yeah.
This and pancakes.
The color seems a little reddish for a porter.
Yeah, I agree.
That could be from the maple.
And there's a little bit of there's barely any head, a little tan residue up top, but it's overall pretty solid.
Yeah, man, I enjoy this a lot.
Definitely.
Love to have some waffles or pancakes with this.
Oh, my goodness, yes. They're like Flying Monkeys. We reviewed them a little bit ago. Was it last week or the week before?
I think it was like 2 episodes ago,
Yeah.
2 or 3.
We had another brew from them that was phenomenal, and this one is very good as well. I look forward to trying more from Flying Monkeys Brewery.
Flying Monkeys, you can reach us at beerbrosbs@gmail.com. We'd love to try all your beers.
We love your beers. So far.
Absolutely.
So far.
We have to try the rest of yours.
So since this is the final episode of the year, I wanted to do a little bit of a year review with you guys. Kind of close out the year, start 2016 off right. Let me ask you guys, what was the best beer you've had this year? And what was the best beer you had on the show?
Oh, man.
Dan, since you've been on the show just as long as I have.
Wow, this is a tough one, man. We've had a lot of great ones. Shit. I mean, I know in the first ever episode we did have we had some Hunapoo, and that's always a great one.
I thought it was pronounced Hunapoo.
Hanapupu.
Actually, it's Hunapoos, but everybody just says Hunapoo. But yeah, that's obviously great from our friends at Cigar City. So I'm gonna say that's probably one of my favorites we've had on the show. It's really hard to narrow it down.
What was your favorite beer you had all year?
Oh my goodness.
Even harder to narrow down.
Yeah, shit. I would have to say, oh my God, I can't remember the exact name, but it was from Cascade, and it was at the at a festival I went to. That it was one of the Cascade sours that I can't remember the name of, and it
Was it the cherry one or?
it didn't have like a fruit in the name. It was like another. I can't remember, bro. But it was phenomenal.
Getting old, memory goes.
I have to look it up now, but the Cascade Sour, and all of them are amazing. There's one in particular that stood out, and I just can't remember the name.
Jose, you've been on second longest. Yeah. What's the best beer you've had on the show and best beer you've had all year?
On the show, the best beer that I had was the Marshall Zukov.
Which one?
The Marshall Zukov, the brandy barrel that we did
Brandy Barrel, yeah.
at when Tony wasn't there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, when we he got pissed at us. He was like, "You guys drank that beer without me."
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he quit the show after what a bitch.
We'll still have you back, Tony.
He's not gonna listen to this.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he will actually.
Yeah,
right?
he would.
Well,
So that was Dan that said that at Dan12Con.
we love you, Tony.
What about you? You've only been on the show for a couple episodes now. What was the best beer
Right.
you?
But I took a look at the beer list for what you guys have had, and I also had the Vanilla Rye from Goose Island Bourbon County
Oh, that's
Style.
amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty
And
good.
that one was probably the best one from the show's list that I've had. Best one that I've had in the last year is really hard to nail down. I feel like this was the year of whale hunting for me. I mean, I got to try Morningwood. I got to try Barrel Aged Snowden.
DFPF.
I even got to try Sip of Sunshine for the first time this year. Pliny the Elder. So, It's really hard to pick, so I'm just gonna go with my local bias and probably say Haterade from J.
Oh,
Wakefield
Dude, that
Brewing.
is so good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Fruit punch Berliner Weiss,
Yeah, that's
delicious.
phenomenal.
Pours
I love
a bright red.
Just like regular.
Tastes like fruit punch Gatorade.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So good.
fantastic. It tastes better than fruit punch Gatorade, actually. If I may be so bold, that's to say.
Cause that's my favorite. I have a bottle of that in my car right now for the ride home. It is so good.
Yeah,
But so is the Haterade.
it was really good.
For me, I'd have to say it was the best beer I've had all year, and on the show, it's the same one. It was the West Lateran 12, the Westie 12. So good. One of the hardest beers to find in the world. They only sell it in Belgium, and they, was it December 12th, 2012?
Yeah, on 12/12/12, they did a special release, very limited. It was like a box set gift package kind of thing, with 2 snifters and 6 12-ounce bottles. I guess they were. I think it was $150 or something, but it was so worth it.
Oh man! And then it was brought to us by Tony, and he aged it for 2 years in his fridge, and it was so.
Which is the proper way to age some things.
Well, I heard not.
I think that
No.
the cold is always good for beer.
No, okay, so here's how it works. You should keep it more or less at the same temperature it ferments at. And it depends what temperature they fermented their beer at. So it's like 65, like around there which is the bottom fridge, like sort of level. Like, even though if it's too cold, what happens is that it just doesn't progress.
I actually
quickly.
just keep my stuff like in the back corner of the closet in the dark.
Yeah, I keep
That's
it in
what
the
I
back.
do too.
Yeah.
It's also where you hide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hang out with the skeletons.
Are you usually trapped in the closet?
Like R. Kelly.
Like who? Like whoever?
Nah, man, I'm good.
And then you came out.
Did he?
I was bored out. No, fuck you guys.
I was
Oh,
just like waiting.
My beer came out of the closet. But
Yeah, man, it's good stuff.
Okay, so let me ask you guys. Let's jump to some regular bullshit. What was your best TV show you saw this year?
Game of Thrones. I mean,
Any particular reason?
I just think, it's probably the most suspenseful, the most twisted. It pushes the boundaries the most.
Jose?
Strike Back.
Strike Back?
I got Amazon Prime and I've loved it, and I saw the season 1 and 2, but now I don't have any more seasons.
Never heard of that. What's that about?
Isn't it on Showtime?
No, yeah, it's on Showtime, but it's also on Amazon Prime. So it's about a secret, kind of like a James Bond, like a spy agency, where they just send out like these 2 dudes out there, like these 2 spies to infiltrate this and get the weapons out, and it's like 24, but like the British side.
Oh, okay, cool, man. I'll have to check that out.
What about you, Dan?
For me, it's probably gonna be season 2 of Fargo.
Oh man, I wish I got into that one. I saw the first season.
It's really good. It just ended, so I think 3 weeks ago, they had the season finale for this one. It was so damn good, dude. Besides that, Daredevil.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Daredevil was pretty good.
Yeah.
Did you watch all of Jessica Jones?
I'm about halfway through.
You didn't.
I like that a lot, but I still like Daredevil more.
See, for me, I probably watch more TV than I do of movies and whatnot. So there's so many shows I have. And just so
Homeland.
I haven't seen this
great.
season yet. I have that on my queue. I have them all recorded on my DVR. But Tyrant,
Oh, on FX? I
yeah,
haven't seen that yet.
that show is also by the producers of 24. And it's one of those shows you're like, okay, so this is how it's going to go. Oh, we know it's going to end like this.
And they just swerve you.
And they just keep, it swerves, but it doesn't end how you think it's going to
Yeah,
end.
that's what I'm saying.
You're like, okay, well, it's done now. And then it
Yeah,
keeps going.
keeps going.
And you're like, well, how can the story be over? There's still 40 minutes left.
Wow.
And there's 40 minutes to dig deeper. And then you hit the end, and it's like another 40 minutes of digging deeper. But probably the best show, I mean, yeah, Daredevil was great. Just the way they redid that character in that show.
Yeah, they made him so much better.
Jessica Jones,
Light years ahead of Ben Affleck.
same thing.
I've never seen the Ben Affleck movies, so I should.
To be honest, it's
I can
not
skip
terrible.
it.
Keep it that way.
It's not
I
the
like it.
worst thing in the world, but it's pretty close.
There are a couple of things that ruined it, but in general, I like that movie. And I mean, in my opinion, Ben Affleck is the bomb.
Bowing Phantoms.
Yo,
Yeah. Weird bitch.
yeah, I didn't do that right. And so,
No, we totally fucked that up.
I haven't read any of their comics. Like,
there's some pretty good
Daredevils,
stuff.
like-
It's like, there's some pretty good in the comics. There's some pretty cool things that he does, and what he does. But it's like he's the one lawyer who represents every single.
Yeah, there's no other lawyers in New York City.
It's like it's like there's no law firm that's willing to hire. They're going after the Punisher. Like I'll take him. I'll fight for his case, and no one ever suspects that he's a superhero because he's blind. It's one of those things you're like, come on, Clark Kent. They know it's you. Like, how blind are you? But
or like with Peter Parker, it's like, oh, I'm the only one who can take pictures of this guy, but don't worry, I'm not him.
But I know who he is. I know who he is. But there's some pretty cool stories they had where, there's a mystical ninja cult called the Hand, and you kind of saw them in the show a little bit, and they go to him because he always beats them up, and they go to him and say, we want you to be our new leader, and whatever you want us to do, we'll do it for you. So he's like, yeah, it's pretty cool. So you do whatever I say and only what I say. They said, yeah. So he cleans up the streets to the extent the police don't even go around there anymore. Police are going to arrest somebody. He tells these mystical ninjas, like, every time you see somebody doing something illegal, just go there and kill them. Or go in there and stop them. And, by stopping them, they take whatever for granted. They're ninjas, so they're going to kill them. So it got to a point where, like, the police are like, we don't even need to go into Hell's Kitchen anymore because, he's got everything beat. And they don't realize that it's like taking a toll on him. And eventually he goes crazy and he's like, kind of gets possessed. And because he's so good in martial arts and all that, he, his friends try and stop him, who end up being Jessica Jones and, Luke Cage, Power Man, and some other people. And the only one that can stop him is the Kingpin, who himself has like this whole background mythos about him where he does like some mysticism himself, and he calls upon some Asian demon to go fight him, and the demon comes up as the Ghost Rider.
oh,
So it's kind of cool how you can tie in different comics, and but the series itself is pretty dark.
Because he's blind, or
Shit. I definitely think that Jessica
I wanted to get
Jones
to the
was,
story arc where they have like Blackheart, and because I know
Well, I just hope they do it how they did it in the Ghost Rider film. But yeah, I have to say though, the favorite show of the year was Silicon Valley on HBO.
that show was fantastic.
It's
Second season was great.
I always forget to record it, so I always have to watch it on HBO Go, and watch the whole season in a day or two. There's only like 8 episodes, and they're maybe 30 minutes long.
Yeah,
But it's so good.
Mike Judge, right?
Yeah.
Created and written by him.
Yeah, and it weaves, and you're like, oh, it's gonna end, and it doesn't have to end happy for these guys, but it can, it might not. You want the good guys to win, but it's so funny, and they can't do any wrong.
Honorable mention to South Park this year. It was a really
Hell
good
yeah, dude.
season.
That has been
Oh, by the way, did I tell you guys I'm a Yelp reviewer?
You're not Yelping.
It's amazing.
Well, we looked up some Yelp reviews earlier, didn't we?
Yeah,
You still got some of those?
yeah. You want to read off? I don't know how it got into it, but we were discussing a local lounge in Miami.
You call it a lounge.
Lifestyle
would you call it a
lounge.
Would you call it a club?
It's
I
a
would
lifestyle.
call it a swingers club.
It's a type
That's
of
what
a
I'd call
club.
It's a lifestyle club.
it.
The lifestyle club. I like that. Lifestyle lounge. alliteration works. And so we got into reading some of the reviews of it. Dan has it handy on his phone.
Yeah, there's some really, really funny stories on here. So there's a place, I don't know if I should say the
You have
name.
it handy.
Should I say the name? I don't know. Yeah, it's called Miami Velvet. It's,
Miami.
Shmimey Schmelvet.
so I thought, hey, it'd be funny to look it up on Yelp and see what people have to say about it.
But we did not write these reviews ourselves. We are
No.
simply reading off.
Yes, this is written
reviews.
by somebody with the initials N.A.
No,
It
go ahead.
actually just says N.A. It doesn't say their name. And
Not available.
Actually, before you
You're not
continue,
available. What are you
It's
doing
fucking
on a
hilarious.
before you
So
read that, we're actually on our second beer of the night,
Yes.
and that was brought to us by Jose.
Yes, Bell's Expedition. This is a Russian Imperial Stout. It's Bell's. We have reviewed it before in our show. We've done the Uranus.
That was Uranus
You've done my anus?
We've done Uranus.
on air.
Yeah, on air.
Ouch.
On air.
How did you like Uranus?
Actually, it wasn't bad.
Was it cleaner than you thought?
No, actually, it was pretty dark.
What was the finish like? What would you say the mouthfeel of your anus is like?
How was the
Who's
after?
finished?
How was the aftertaste? How was that? How was the aftertaste?
Yeah. It was out of this world.
How did you like the back end?
The back end of
How did you like the
Uranus.
back end of Uranus?
Oh, God.
Wait, how would that work? The back end of your anus.
We can discuss it on air. You know.
Oh, okay.
It would be like the tip.
It would be the forward,
Well, I'm thinking like you got to go
Sphincter?
pretty far to get to
the back end.
because like the front is the back.
Yeah.
It's kind of like one of those like, oh, Eastern Pacific is West Coast, you know.
Yeah. That shit's crazy.
So Dan,
But
go ahead with
either
some of
way.
these reviews. Oh no, wait, hold on, Dan. Hold on, Dan. Tell us some more about the beer.
So yeah, it's I got this on growler. It's usually on bottles though, and usually what people do is that they usually do age it to mellow it out a bit, but I think it's pretty mellow by itself. So
Okay, I got a little bit of a roast to it.
Yeah, it's
A
real
little chocolate bitterness at the end.
good. I like it, man. I think it's already pretty mellow.
yeah,
Yeah, man, I enjoy it. But I mean, really, I like a lot of stuff Bell's does. I don't really have any.
So is this the second beer from up north? Yeah, you know, we had Ontario and now Kalamazoo, Michigan.
That's right. That's pretty much next door.
we're going down the line.
Yeah, man.
Tweet to us. I think actually, by the time you hear this, we'll already be done. This isn't live.
We'll talk
Well,
about
you-
it next week.
All three of you understand that by now.
If you're listening, just send us a tweet just to say hi.
Yeah, please.
At Beer Bros BS
Correct.
and not Mom.
Mom doesn't know how to tweet.
She doesn't listen to this.
No, she doesn't.
My mom does know not what I tweet, but what I Facebook because she's Facebook stalks.
My
Yeah,
mom is
you
on
do
Facebook.
not want her to see your tweets because
Yeah.
you tweet some filthy things,
Yeah, I know.
some hardcore filthy things. You can find
I
me at
know.
Jose _
JR.
Oh God! But be careful. It's explicit.
And remember, guys, what you see, you cannot unsee.
Hashtag NSFW.
Hashtag mind's eye forever.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Okay, so
man.
do some of these reviews, Dan.
You know, this is a pretty funny one. So this person's review, I'll kind of skim through and say some of the highlights. But it starts off by saying, "My boyfriend and I came here when we were vacationing in Miami a few weeks ago. We have never been to a swingers club or a sex club or anything of that sort, so this was new to both of us. But we were excited to see what it was about."
Bullshit.
That's what she says. Of course, it's bullshit.
Bullshit.
Yeah, it wasn't her first time.
So she said,
And it wasn't a her. And it wasn't a her.
She said, "This club looked like something out of an old movie to me. Did not look modern at all. The crowd is 95% Spanish and not very attractive."
Also bullshit.
it was 100% Spanish.
It's 100%.
And practically everybody was attracted.
Even the cum stain on the floor.
She said, "Yeah."
Oh my goodness, that would be No, that gives me an idea. We should like carve up one of the pieces of the carpet, Miami Velvet, and then hang it up as an art piece.
Oh, God.
Would you? Are you going to touch that carpet?
Yeah.
Put it like this. I'm not going to touch that, nor help you touch it at all.
Yeah, Biohazard
Cut it.
as a work of art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. You got to put it behind glass and like stand 10 feet away.
Yeah, exactly.
As it radiates.
Yes.
As it radiates SCDs.
But come see it soon because it'll fucking disintegrate within 6 months. So
Just don't put any shampoo around it. It'll wash it off.
oh my God. So the review goes on to say that the most fun that my boyfriend and I had was watching porn while laying on the chaise lounges outside of the bathrooms.
Ooh, Chase.
Couples were seated at the couch next to ours, and the girls started giving the guy oral sex, while other single guys there just stood around and jerked off.
I just want to say in that review, she doesn't say what she's doing while
She
this.
doesn't, dude. She doesn't.
She's reviewing.
She's sitting there on her phone. Oh my God, I can't believe you brought me here.
Get me the manager. I want to tell him I'm a Yelp reviewer.
But the best part,
You are going to get boogers and cum.
the best
That would be the name of dance club. Boogers and cum.
Angry Dragon.
shit.
Everyone.
Everybody Google Angry Dragon.
Angry Joachim.
The best part, though, she goes on to say, yeah, we're very sexual. We're always looking forward to taking our kinkiness up a notch. But I honestly felt uncomfortable here. We were approached by a couple who got us some drinks and wanted to mingle, but the female was deaf and the man didn't speak English.
Well, it's 100% Spanish. Of course he doesn't speak English.
Right? She goes, yeah, we have way more fun at home alone anyway. She says, there's this creepy, perverted single guy here that had his penis hanging out the whole time, and he would just walk up to people and start jerking off in front of them. She goes,
Unsolicited, just jerking off. And then ask for a tip after.
And not money.
oh my God, man.
Just a tip.
Just a tip.
Yeah, so what's even better is underneath her 1-star review, they actually have a reply that Miami Velvet wrote back, rather Jason S. of Miami Velvet. And he says, sorry to hear that you didn't have the best time, but in terms of the cleanliness of the club, this is an important part of our business that we take very seriously. And there are hand sanitizing stations labeled and located in several locations throughout the club. Blah, 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 blah. Including the private areas near the restrooms, as well as in the group play areas.
Group play.
It's like when you're a little kid at Discovery Zone.
Yeah.
Group play.
Dude, it's hysterical, man. I don't know. We got talking about that before we came on, and I wanted to share it with everybody because it's freaking hilarious.
Before we came on and you got off.
Damn right. I've never been there.
I was just making a point.
Yeah.
Vicariously.
Yeah.
Yelp reviewers.
Yeah.
So that brings me to the best movie of the year. What's the best? Jose, what's the best movie you saw this year?
Great
In
segue.
theaters or
Great
or on
segue.
your laptop.
The best movie I saw on RedTube?
Anywhere.
Oh, anywhere. Dazed and Confused. I haven't seen it
Oh, that
before.
movie's fucking great. Yeah.
And Sonia showed me like this year, and
It's a
that
classic.
Yeah, that was fucking great.
Yeah, that's a classic, man. I love
Yeah,
that
that's a
movie.
really good one. I mean, this is the year of Star Wars, but I'm gonna say Ex Machina. That movie was
Shit is amazing.
I thought it was pronounced
mind-blowing.
Ex Machina.
Ex Machina.
Ex Machina, no?
The-
Ex Machina. Yeah, it's a foreign film.
No,
believe
man,
it's,
I agree.
from
That was
Slovenia.
really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie was fantastic. The questions that it brought up, the points that it made, the acting, Oscar Isaac. It's like that's a
It's a Miami boy right there.
yeah, that's some hometown, homegrown movie star right there.
Yeah, bro.
Dan?
Okay, damn, this is a tough one, man. I would have to go with something I saw on Netflix. I guess the movie was a couple years old. It's called Bronson. Has Tom Hardy, and he's playing basically this old British prisoner that is just fucking insane. And the more I say, the more like it kind of starts spoiling the movie. but basically it turns into almost a one-man show, and the film is like 90% just him by himself, just doing all kinds of craziness. It's extremely violent, funny, kind of like suspenseful. It's everything, but it's phenomenal, man. And I mean, in general, like Tom Hardy has been doing some amazing work. So that's up there as one of the best I've seen in a long, long time. As far as theatrical releases, shit, that's really, really tough. I'm not sure. I mean, I see a lot of movies, man. So to remember like what I've been to.
So what was your favorite one though? Should be easy. What's off the top of your head?
Oh my god. Honestly, bro,
Let's go through Fandango.
I'm looking at what Entourage,
Oh, are you serious?
Okay.
Entourage, and Creed.
And Creed.
I've heard really good things.
Creed
about
was really good. Yeah,
For me, I'd have to say the major release would be Star Wars.
yeah.
I've seen it 3 times now.
I didn't
No
want to say
kidding.
that.
Three
3
times.
times. And it's like
Hasn't even been out 2 weeks.
there's so many questions.
Really?
So many questions I have about it.
Well, I think it's time that we just we go ahead and spoil it because I want to hear what some of your questions are.
Okay.
Well, actually, what they had this on sports radio today. When is the proper time to spoil a movie?
Whenever the hell you feel. No, we talked about this last
Whatever
time.
the hell.
I mean,
Honestly, I think opening weekend. After opening weekend, you should. Feel
If it's
free
a
to give
major,
a
if
top
it's a major
five.
film, yeah, I'd say a week is fine.
it's been twice that. So
Okay, so we want to get into that. That's fine.
look, if you are trying to avoid spoilers,
Fast forward
fast
15 minutes.
forward for a while.
15 minutes max.
yeah.
Max, yeah.
Okay. So first question:
Spoilers begin.
Who is Rey's father?
Luke.
Yeah, everybody seems to think Luke. I've heard a
Okay.
theory about
Okay.
Obi-Wan, but I really
No,
still
Obi-Wan
feel
would have to be the grandfather, though.
right. It would be like Obi-Wan.
Okay. Okay. So the question would be, what is her last name?
No, I still feel that her last name is going to be Solo. I still think she's Han's daughter. I think they're going to be brother and sister.
See, that's the thing. I have so many questions, and I have so many. Like, I could play devil's advocate and argue with you on that.
I think it was pretty clear when she was getting in the Millennium Falcon, though.
I would
The
say-
way that
I
she
would-
was saying the
just like
Because Luke was like, oh, what a piece of junk. And she kind of says the same thing.
yeah, she calls it
Well,
garbage.
okay,
Same shit.
There's parallels between them, but then here's the thing:
a lot of parallels, sure.
could she be a Kenobi? Actually, Obi-Wan had the lightsaber longer than Luke had it, or Anakin had it.
That's true. But was he using it?
He held on to it
Yeah,
when
he was using his lightsaber. He was alone in the fucking desert planet
He-
for a while.
I mean, oh no, he had his still, but he held on to. He's the one that gave it to Luke. All those years in between, because if you say
what
that,
happened to his original one? I'm just going to
Well,
use Luke's instead.
well, no, he had
Or
it.
Anakin's
He
instead?
had
Right. He was holding on to
Anakin's,
it.
but he had his own because that's how he fought Vader with.
Did he? Yeah, because he had
At the
already
end,
given
yeah.
it to Luke. He had already given it to Luke. Speaking of the lightsaber, how the hell did Maz get it?
Well, that's a whole nother thing.
That thing
I mean,
fell through Cloud City. Like, who went and found it?
well, it's to say that if it fell to the end, it went through some duct, and I mean, she's been around. Let's say they're saying for at least 1,000 years. She's older than Yoda
Whoa.
by a good 100+ years.
She's about as old as Yoda
Well, no,
was when he died.
Yoda was 900.
900 when he died?
Yeah, he was 800 during the Clone Wars, and he was like, when you reach 900 years, how good you will look will you look this good?
Okay.
They said Maz had been owning this
Right,
joint
Her bar is at the first Jedi Temple.
for the last 1,000 years.
Or did I misunderstand that? I mean,
Maybe that
I
was.
think that's what they said, right? They were like,
I think so.
Now, could she be a Kenobi? I mean, if you ever watched the Star Wars Clone Wars series, it was clear that
which is canon now.
which is canon because it was by Disney XD. He did have a girlfriend when he was a Padawan,
Which is kind of fucked up, Obi-Wan.
and who was a Mandalorian. And Mandalorians are they were the weapon makers of the universe, and it was their armor is what Boba Fett has because
Yeah.
it's the best that the galaxy has. Could she be a Palpatine? She could
Rey
be.
being Rey a Palpatine?
Okay. So in Germanic languages, Vader means father.
I
Okay.
don't agree with that theory at all, but I'm familiar with it.
But in Spanish, obviously,
Rey is king.
Rey is king. Palpatine was emperor. Now, how would it flip? How would
I
it
think
flip
that's a stretch, bro.
the storyline? Flip that the bad guy of the film is a Skywalker, and
Right.
the savior would be a
Well,
Palpatine.
he's a solo. He's a solo. Kylo Ren is a solo.
Who's the mother?
The mother is Leia Organa
Twin brother of
of Luke Skywalker. Yeah, it's the same
So-
bloodline. It's a bloodline.
daughter of.
Yeah, Organa is just her adopted last
Yeah.
name.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So it would be Skywalker. So
Well,
essentially,
she's
she's
solo.
of, but she's
Solo,
still of that
that's solo.
lineage.
Yeah, it's the same
It's
bloodline.
traced
for
back
sure.
to Anakin.
Yeah.
So
It's just
what's to
one
say
family
that
just
the
fucking
bad
with
guy?
Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's to say the bad guy is a Skywalker and the one to fix it is a Palpatine?
Well, here's my thing with the whole Obi-Wan is one like is one, did he have the baby that made the baby, you know?
Well, she died in the series. Okay, the mother.
And it's the same thing with Luke, but I believe it more with Luke because I have a personal theory that Luke dabbles in the dark side.
Oh, for sure.
And
Well,
I
he
think
did in
that's
3.
why I think that's where Kylo picks it up and runs with it.
Yeah.
Because
I
he,
think-
but-
he chokes somebody. He chokes out the guards in Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. That's a dark
Yeah,
side.
he got
and he's wearing black, and his
Yeah.
lightsaber is no longer blue.
But he's
He
not.
dabbles. He dabbles.
But when you see him now, he's not wearing black.
No, now he went back to sort of an Obi-Wan garb.
Yeah.
He went to the Jedi Master garb.
The brown
Yeah.
hood.
Yeah.
No, but for a while he was using like hate and whatever. Like, remember the
Yeah.
Emperor was like, "Yes, yes."
Good. Let it flow through
Grooming
you.
his
Yeah.
pants.
Yeah. The Emperor is that guy jerking off at like Miami Gardens.
Miami Gardens.
Good. Good. Yes.
Yes.
Let this flow through you.
Okay. So who is Snoke? Is he just somebody that filled the vacuum?
Darth
Whatever.
Plagueis.
I've heard Plagueis. being
Is it
thrown around.
Plagueis? I mean, I think it's potentially Plagueis. That's why you can link it back to the prequels.
Wars. Yeah. To
You know, you
link
could do
to
that.
The first 3.
There's the music that plays in when he's there is the same music that plays in Episode 3.
I think that is crucial to deciphering Star Wars.
There's,
Absolutely crucial.
but it's also to say that that Johnny Williams is known for reusing music and for stealing music, and so it wouldn't be so surprising that he reuses a song before for speaking of a darker evil, a bigger, when the Emperor's talking, how crazy would it be to show that this is the song of the big bad evil?
Well, I think it was at that giveaway.
Could it be a theme?
In the trailers to The Force Awakens, whenever they play Han and Leia's love song around Rey, I was just like, all right, thanks for telling me ahead of time.
I mean, you could look at that. Maybe it's not. Maybe
But it was.
is.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what it was, though.
Um,
And also, if you look at the poster, here's my thing. I think a lot is told in the poster. And if you look at the poster, obviously Rey's in the middle, so that kind of gave it away for me that she was going to be the Jedi. It wasn't going to be Finn, even though everybody saw him with a lightsaber. But there's her staff runs parallel to Kylo's lightsaber, right? And so they're bringing balance to the Force. We already know this, and that's why I insist that they're brother and sister. I know obviously they have to be related. I think we can all agree that they have to be related. I don't know. Well, maybe not, because you're throwing around the Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I mean, that's
I
it's
personally don't think so. I think it's
I think
gonna
they
be
have
Luke's
to.
kid and that they're
I mean,
cousins.
I think
Yeah.
they have to be related because they
If you-
mention the family. They're like, "Oh, your family," and then like
Yep.
5 minutes
Yep.
later, they talk about Kylo Ren's family.
yeah.
And there's only really one family that we talk about.
if you go back and look at the stories and books that are non-canonical now, what's called the legends. What happened was Luke married a Force-sensitive person who worked with the Emperor, and they had a kid. And
Luke
Luke,
starts with an M. Mara.
Mara,
Mara Jade was the
Yeah.
kid.
and
She actually
was
was
the wife,
Oh, yeah.
and
They made it legitimate.
yeah, and they and then Leia and Han had twins, just like she was of a twin, and so on and so forth. Well, one of the twins goes bad, kills Mara Jade, and then and I think it kills his kid. So you kills their brother, I think he had a daughter. it's something like how he killed his, the bad one killed his sister or something along those lines, and Luke's wife, and it kind of puts cousin against cousin. So
That's what I think's happening. Cousin versus cousin.
yeah, and you could have those parallels which exist. Another question would be, who's because everything in these movies, everyone is related. If you're from the same planet, it's really,
It's like the same neighborhood.
you are absolutely somehow in cahoots with each other, which would then bring a distinction to, you would say, the whole discussion of Jar Jar Binks, which, I don't know if
Why
you guys,
is he not there?
well, if you guys read this theory on Reddit where he's a Sith master.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I would love to see that.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, tell us. I heard
quickly
about
get
this.
to quickly
but-
get into it.
yeah.
Everything that he does, how he evades attacks, is almost precognizant. It looks like it's just goofy. He's just messing up, but it could also be precognizant. When he talks and he talks to people and they do the things that he says, he's always talking with his hands. And this Reddit post has all the GIFs, animated GIFs, to go along to show what he means. So whenever he talks about something, then they would say that there was a scene where in episode 1 where they're gonna jump the Imperial Guard on Naboo.
Yeah.
The Imperial Guard were gonna jump to try and rescue the Queen Amidala and all of them when they were being escorted by the droids, and all the Jedi jump down and they just quickly handle the droids, and you see Jar Jar try and jump down too, but he gets his leg twisted. And then, but what you see is the only way where he could have landed was on one side, but he landed on the other side, which you could only accomplish by a force jump. And you say, well, maybe that's just something that they missed. And then you would have to think, well, does George Lucas seem like the kind of guy that would just miss something like that?
Well, there are some funny things, like for instance, in episode 5, when Luke is fighting Darth Vader and Luke jumps down, and Vader he knocks Vader down, and then he jumps into the pit after him. This is after Solo. No, this is before. I don't remember if this is before or after Solo is frozen in carbonite. But long story short, Luke jumps down, hits obviously the trampoline that he's supposed to land in, actually jumps back into the shot and looks into the camera. Something fun to look for. I mean, it's really it's kind of a the blink of an eye kind of thing, but it exists.
The other thing that Jar Jar did is he persuaded a prepubescent boy to go and say how pretty that girl was, who was already past puberty. He created that connection for this boy to go after that girl. Say, oh, she's so pretty, Annie. And then afterwards, Attack of the Clones, he was the first one to see him before she, they saw each other. And he goes, oh, she's been talking about you all the time. So he puts that in there. Whenever Qui-Gon would look away, he would stick his tongue out to him. He would show him not to respect Jedi, not to take them seriously, that they are just there, that they're teachers, they're just hall monitors. Do not listen to them. Do not pay them attention. You can ignore them.
I'm gonna have to watch the old ones again, man.
And this, all the things like when he gets attacked, when he's leading the fight against the droidekas and all of that, how he evades attack. It's they will show people getting shot, but they show and the theory goes on to say, whereas in the original trilogy, he had Yoda was like the master Jedi. He was the top one. So what's to say that you would take this other goofy character for the prequels, and instead of being, because he was the one senator that gave Palpatine, that voted Palpatine, that suggested Palpatine become
He
emperor.
nominated him. Yeah.
And seeing how he was Palpatine was from Naboo, and so was
That's interesting
Palpatine
because
was from Naboo? I didn't know that.
he was the senator while she was queen.
Yeah, that's
So-
true.
And then when Chancellor Valorum was,
that's interesting because Jar Jar was the right hand man of that Lord in Naboo, like the underwater sea.
Gungar
So
or something.
Gungar, do you think he had to do something with behind the scenes? Oh, they were in coalition with the Sith
Well, think
against
about it. It's like
the-
everything else in that Star Wars galaxy is if you're from the same planet, you're in cahoots.
So it's like, oh, the royal family likes the Jedis and they're in cahoots with the Jedis. Meanwhile, these underwater people are with.
Met up with the one guy who was gonna a Sith apprentice at the time, and they took over the universe.
That's some shit.
Yeah, and this Reddit post, I'm looking at it right now, just goes on and on and on. I mean, it ends with saying Jar Jar's Supreme Leader Snoke, which,
The Jar Jar is Snoke?
yeah,
No
which
fucking
is
way.
not, but
That is definitely
it's
not true.
he's most likely Darth Plagueis, but it goes on. I'm telling you, it has so much in
Well,
there.
Jar Jar would be really fucking old right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or maybe
It
Plagueis
doesn't
was.
matter if you have the secret to eternal life.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you know what? Or maybe Plagueis was just like controlling Jar Jar's body the whole time,
could
and
be.
Jar Jar was really dead.
Yeah, what if Jar Jar was just the subject of Sith mind control to begin
Yeah, I
with?
know.
Could be.
Just reanimated.
And I'm looking at it right now. There's animated gifs of Jar Jar waving his hand to show how good he was at the Force mind control. Is that they have a image of him waving his hands toward the promotion of Bombard General, waving his hands towards promotion to the Senate, and using his arms as waves to the Galactic Senate. So maybe he just talks with his hands like an Italian, or he's just using mind tricks.
Wow. Okay.
So, but okay, back to Force Awakens. Finn, he's related somehow. There's only two black guys in that universe. Is he a Windu
3.
or Calrissian?
Well, with
two
Finn,
before,
3.
two before Finn, right?
Well, okay, this is what I'm thinking is in between Empire and Jedi, when Han was frozen, Lando hooked up with Leia.
Hey,
He's all smooth. Nobody would be surprised by
Billy D.
that.
Williams.
Hey, man,
I met him
Get
this
it
summer.
down.
would it really be that shocking though? I mean,
Or how shocking would it be to
So
say
you're saying Finn is Lando and Leia's?
Yes.
so that they'd be cousins or,
Yes.
or half brother, half sister?
Yes.
I would.
that would be half brother, half.
I think
Oh,
that would be cool.
Wow.
I would.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind seeing.
I mean, but
that.
that would make Leia look like that fucking whore, but
Or yeah,
Because then you still have the brother sister thing
yeah.
that way, just like Luke
2015.
Luke and Leia.
Because they were not really brother and sisters. Like,
Oh,
Well, Luke and
little
Leia
more
brother and sister.
incest. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Now what if you have what if Finn is actually Mace Windu's grandson?
He didn't
That-
seem to be very
Okay, well,
into the Force. Seemed to.
just because you're
he didn't die to.
okay.
suck at it.
Well, in the novels and everything, they go on to say that Han, if he had been tested as a child, could have been a Jedi, because there are varying levels of Force abilities. The fact that you're a great pilot, that you can maneuver and never get shot, that you have a sort of precognition, doesn't mean that you're just a great pilot. It means that you're such a good pilot that you're connected with the Force. You kind of know what's going to happen right before it happens, so you can evade getting
Yeah,
shot down.
you know what's gonna happen. Also, right before, that's why he shot the guy first.
There's levels.
Yeah, I
Actually,
guess
he
they
got
cut that out.
Yeah, they said he got shot second. He shot
Yeah, I know,
second.
but
Well,
like
that's
in
in the
reality,
Disney ones. In the original one, Greedo never shoots.
That's true.
yeah, he never
Greedo
shoots.
gets
Like
shot.
Han
Yeah,
Solo
yeah.
was just
'Cause
like,
Han is a
like
scoundrel.
he already
Dude,
knows
Han's-
beforehand. Like,
not really a good guy.
No, he's not.
I mean,
he's an opportunist. Who
he's
falls
a
in love with
mercenary.
princess.
Well,
well,
you know?
remember in
Well, I
this
read-
episode? Oh yeah, how did you capture those 3 creatures? Oh yeah, we had like a lot more crew than this. Like he basically like said, "Oh fuck the crew, I just want my creatures."
Dude, he was all about the money.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
it.
I had read that he was originally an Imperial naval officer who then like spared Chewie's life, and that's why Chewie's indebted to him. Oh shit! Yeah, and then he became a smuggler after like he used his knowledge of like Imperial.
I wouldn't be too shocked.
I never read that, so
He seems like a middle of the road kind of guy. He's not too good, not too bad, just worried.
Well, maybe Kylo Ren is the same thing. He's not too good, not too bad.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, how about this
Kylo
then?
is bad. He's
Okay.
bad, but he's
what
just
if he's a double
bitch.
agent?
Yeah, I think he's
Kylo's
a double agent.
double agent.
No,
Okay.
no, I disagree.
So why does he look up to Vader, knowing that Vader totally turns good at the end?
Does he know that? Does
I
he
think
know
so.
that?
The
Only
fact
per-
that his son takes him and you don't think that his after he burns him and all that and Luke talks to Leia and says he turned good. He came back for us. There's good in him. The same thing that Luke said about Vader, Leia said about his son. And then at the same time, Kylo Ren says it, I feel the light. Show me what I have to do. Okay? So what if they don't say how the new Jedi, experience was ruined? All they said is that Kylo Ren destroyed it. They don't say how.
I envisioned something similar to when Anakin destroyed the temple.
Killing younglings.
Yeah.
That's what they want you to think. But they didn't say how it happened. They just said he destroyed it. Okay. So really, you can't imagine anything. You'd have to go just based off what they said. What if this is a long fuck up where Luke had a feeling and they talked about it and said that or Kylo comes up and says, I can go. He's trying to talk to me. I can go in there. I can be his guy, but I have to do some bad things.
So he was just selling it when he killed Han?
Yep. That's
Help
why
me.
he just.
I need you to help me, Dad. And he looks at him and says, anything.
I thought it was help me not fuck up like Vader and help me embrace the dark side.
No, he looks at him and says, I don't know what to do. I'm conflicted. Can you help me? And he looks at him and says, anything.
So what do you, to
So
me,
that
the
he
conflict
kinda
is
knew.
which side is he choosing? Is he choosing the dark side or the light side?
For
He's
now.
selling it.
What are you saying?
He's selling it. I'm saying
conflict
that
is?
I'm saying he's a double agent.
That
He
he's good.
wants to be good. He doesn't want to leave his family. He doesn't want to not talk to them. He wants to see them. Just like how Leia can feel it, that how force sensitive she is. She felt Han dying. She knows she can feel the light in him, just as much as Supreme Leader Snoke can feel the light in him. Make sure your feelings are clear, because everyone knows his backstory. Even General Hux said, make sure your personal feelings don't blind you in this. Even this fucking general is telling him what to do.
My question is, how did Kylo Ren get Vader's helmet?
Because Luke gave it to him.
Luke held on to it after
Yeah.
the
After-
battle on the Death Star 2.0.
But why would Luke give that to this guy?
Well, they didn't say he gave it to him, but he went to go bury it. He went to go bury his father's remains, and they were buried on wherever they were buried, and
Probably on Endor.
yeah, Endor could have been Tatooine, could have been anywhere, but
Most likely Tatooine because it was all melted and fucked up.
But here's the thing: all he had to do was, say, all Luke and Leia and Han had to do is say, "This is where your grandfather is buried. This is what he did. This is where his remains are." All it took him was 2 seconds to use the Force and just lift it up. And
That was another thing, is that he seemed super powerful in the very beginning of the movie, and by the end of the movie, he really looked like a little punk.
okay, well,
Maybe he's not trying to kill them. That's the thing.
okay,
Well, he had been shot by
Yeah.
Chewie's crossbow.
Chewie,
too.
Chewie shot him, and okay,
He just survived an explosion.
So here's some things when you think about that point. Finn did hit his leg or his shoulder, weakening him. There's a comic book out there which shows that stormtroopers receive trainings with sticks and nightclubs and things like that. They're equivalent of it. So it wouldn't be so crazy that he knows how to use a sword to fight it as like a club or something to hit somebody. So to get one lucky shot in isn't that crazy. Chewie, who's I think he was at that point 200, is an expert marksman.
No, I think he's actually closer to 400 years old.
At that point,
Or maybe that's...
expert marksman.
Okay. Yeah.
So he was wounded, in the side, which is you see him bleeding in the snow.
Right.
And then Finn gets to him. There's a little bit where you think that maybe Rey is a Skywalker, and she did receive some training, because when she had her vision, when she was on the floor, there was somebody that had a weapon that had their weapon up. Maybe they were facing her, but you don't know if if she's on the floor and she's remembering somebody with a weapon above her, and a lightsaber goes through their chest and they die. So you don't know if Kylo Ren was saving her and then wiped her mind, because he has pretty good ability of getting into people's minds. Maybe he wipes her mind.
And then all these years later, she comes back stronger than him.
Well, she was also being trained,
I don't know.
because then she would have been at the Jedi Temple too, and that's why they put her on Jakku
Yeah, to hide her.
to hide her.
Of course.
So that means, so that's why
To
at the
hide her
end,
from who? I mean, I think they were hiding
Snoke.
her from Kylo.
I think they were hiding her from Snoke, because if Kylo was I mean, they say, you know, if he's a double agent, let's say that, and they're trying to, you know, and they're worried about Snoke corrupting her. If she's of Luke and another Jedi, she's even stronger than Kylo, you know, of Leia, who wasn't as strong as Luke, and somebody else that wasn't Force sensitive. But if two Force sensitive and one of them was a Skywalker, that would make her really more stronger, which is why at the end of the fight, he said, I will teach you the ways of the Force. I'll be your teacher. And that's why she closed her eyes and opened, you know, she said Force, and then she realized how to do this. Like, how would she know how to do a Jedi mind trick?
Yeah, that was a little.
Which
strange.
means that she had some sort of training before.
I think it could also just be explained because she seemed kind of aware of the lure of the whole Skywalker and Jedi.
Well, there's the lure, but there's also to say that she was probably, there's a good possibility that she was put on Jakku to
Remember, 'cause
hide.
she asked, like, "Oh, is it true? Is this true?" So I mean, she's heard it. Like,
But it
this
couldn't-
is something
Well,
people
yeah,
talk
she was
about.
like, "Oh my God, you're Han Solo." Yeah.
But in that scene, you know, where you see the other Knights of Ren, there, you see somebody get stabbed with that lightsaber, with the red lightsaber, and it's, you don't know if that person was protecting her, or if that person was trying to attack her, and he saved, you know, maybe somebody else got corrupted, and he's killed that person to save her, and that led down his path.
It's
You know.
interesting.
That's, I mean, like I said, I can keep going on this subject. There are so many more questions now, which is a great storytelling.
Well, why do you think Luke was in hiding?
Part
and
of
why
it-
couldn't Kylo Ren get
Okay,
to him?
what if they say how it was destroyed was his wife was killed, and he felt personally responsible for.
Like,
for
I'm gonna go
teaching-
into hiding
because-
because I'm gonna fucking obliterate you and everything I see.
Well,
if I don't.
maybe you know, if I see you, I couldn't. You know, I don't want to kill my nephew. I couldn't kill my best friend's son. I couldn't kill my sister's son. I couldn't do that. And also, I'm the one that trained you.
Yeah.
I'm the one that told you what to do, how to hold it, how to create your lightsaber, and then you go and kill my wife. Like, I can't do this anymore.
I was thinking that maybe he felt a little bit more darkness coming on to him, and so to kind of protect everybody else, he was like, "I'm going to get away, so I don't, you know, hurt somebody and fuck shit up because I'm feeling, you know,
I'm
the
feeling
darkness coming
really
in,
pissed
you know."
right now.
Yeah.
And she knows where he is, because when he's in when she's, you know, his Kylo Ren's prisoner, he looks into her mind and sees exactly where Luke is. I see the ocean.
Yeah.
I see the little island in the middle of the ocean.
Didn't she get that vision when she opened that chest? She got a lot happens when she opens that chest.
Maybe that just unlocked something that was suppressed, that somebody tried to wipe. Somebody tried to, you know, make her forget. It's a great storytelling. You make more questions than you have answers for.
Mhm.
And you just let the mind just go. The other movie that I saw that was badass this year, jump back in the subject, was This Is England. It stars Stephen Graham. He played Al Capone in The Boardwalk Empire. You know who that is? He's actually British. And this is set during the 70s, 80s, or no, 60s. No, 83. It's set in 83 during the, right after the Falkland War. And it's about a group, it's mostly about, him, who's a guy just got a skinhead that just gets out of prison, a British skinhead, and a little kid who gets picked on it, you know, and he joins these guys and all the crazy shit that happens. And holy shit. It is a crazy movie.
That's cool, man. I
it
never heard
is-
of that.
Yeah, it came out in 2006. It's called This Is England. And I think they made a TV show about it after, but it won a bunch of awards. It's crazy. Just absolutely crazy.
Cool.
So, we're actually on our next beer, which is brought to us by Dan.
That's right, guys. I've brought the 20th anniversary bourbon barrel aged imperial stout from the Hinterland brewery. This is
Is that around the internet?
it may be. I'm not sure. This is from what they call their Out of the Woods series. Like I was saying, yeah, it's from Hinterland, which is out of I think
The woods.
It's Wisconsin or something, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's
Wisconsin, don't you know?
yeah. It's pretty good, man. It's what is it? It's 9.4 ABV. For an imperial stout, that's pretty low, and for a barrel aged imperial stout, that's crazy low. Honestly, it's a little bit lighter in flavor than I kind of expected. The flavor is still good though. I enjoy it. It's roasty and sort of velvety.
Yeah, it's already mellowed out. It's not like
It's pretty mellow. I enjoy it. Surprisingly, for a barrel aged imperial stout, it's still only in a
how much is
in
it
a
again?
small
Like
bottle. It's in a pint sized bottle only.
the ABV? How
It's
much?
9.4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a little low.
Yeah, I get the roastiness to it.
It's
I got
a
bit of
little
that
low, but
vanilla.
it's not that low. I mean,
It's not, but I mean, when you think of a barrel aged imperial stout, you're gonna think higher. I enjoy it. It's very drinkable. Pretty
It's kind of
Pretty
mild
easy.
for a barrel aged beer.
it is pretty mild.
Is it
yeah.
blended at all, or
I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't think so. It doesn't specify. I don't know.
okay, yeah, this is a good point. Is it barrel aged or oak aged? Like,
it's bourbon barrel?
yeah, I know, but there's a difference. How they market it, because for instance, the Yeti, they sell it in both the barrel aged and oak aged. So oak aged, all they did is that they put the wood chips inside and they let it ferment with the wood chips to get the flavor. Barrel aged is that they actually used wooden barrels to ferment it in.
I mean, this is bourbon barrels, based off of looking at the bottle and off of looking at beeradvocate.com. It does say it's the barrel
Aged. Oh, okay, so they actually had a barrel,
Yeah,
wooden barrel.
Yeah. I've had a few other hinterland brews that have been very good. This one is, it's tasty. It's a good beer. But I was kind of expecting a little bit more. Not saying it's bad, but when you see a barrel aged imperial stout, you expect.
Did you want it to be a little more boozy?
You want a big beer?
Yeah, like it's not. It's
Big bold
Or
beer.
did you want that vanilla, like the characteristics that you get along with like having a barrel?
I mean, I was expecting something that had a little bit
More cowbell?
of a punch, a little bit of like it's really really easy drinking, and it tastes good, but it's just lighter than I was expecting.
Yeah,
Still
easy-
not knocking it. It's not bad, but
Easy drinking isn't something you typically use to describe a barrel aged.
not at
beer.
all, man. It's
Yeah, you can.
It's
take this
not
down,
very-
No problem.
it's
Well,
not very
For instance,
indicative
the white
of
oak,
the style.
the white oak though is easy drinking too, technically, and it's still like you can do oak like aging
Yeah,
in a
it
barrels
wasn't-
without like
it wasn't
going
a-
overboard.
I think it's when you use like a bourbon barrel or a
Or
whiskey
tequila barrel,
or a
tequila barrel. Like
Anything where you
I don't-
held the liquor.
I'm not
before
too big of a fan
and
of
it's
a
imparting
tequila
that
barrel
flavor.
because tequila barrels give a lot of that agave flavor. Sometimes.
Did you ever
in it.
have Points Unknown by Stone?
No.
It's it was an IPA in tequila barrels, and then blended with a triple.
Really, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
in a ratio of 70 to 30, so 30% triple, 70% barrel aged IPA.
Wow.
Or yeah, I think so. Well, either way, it made for a fantastic beer because the barrel aging was really subtle. You only got it as the beer warmed up. The triple lent kind of that fruity flavor, which complemented the citrusy, hoppy characteristic of the IPA perfectly.
That sounds pretty good.
I really enjoyed that beer. I know that we're not reviewing it today, but it was a
No,
good
that's
beer.
cool, man. I'll keep my eyes open.
And it's one of those triple collabos.
Oh, yeah?
It was Wicked Weed, Stone, and I forget the third party that was involved.
that sounds pretty
Stone does a lot of that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool when they do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
like the Wood Stout,
Yeah.
Farkin Wheaton.
interesting. Yeah.
And the Damon.
I don't think I've had that one.
Oh, it's a coffee IPA. It's absolutely amazing.
Oh, that sounds pretty good. I like that. I think that's interesting.
It's like a blonde. It's
Yeah.
like a light beer, but it tastes like a stout.
I think that's amazing when they do stuff like that. I think that's pretty cool.
So let me ask you guys, what was your favorite album that was released this year?
Oh wow, that's a tough one, man.
Yeah, I don't know if I keep up with current music, to be honest.
Pretty easy for me. I really liked Kendrick Lamar's "To Pimp a Butterfly."
That shit is really good.
I thought it was the first hip hop album in a really long time to be sort of like a complete work of art from beginning to end, where probably since his debut album. I know he had a lot of other mixtapes and unofficial albums released before. Good Kid, Mad City. But really, this one kind of followed up nicely. It was the same thing where, you have a kind of a story being told. This one was a little bit more complex, highly artistic, very conceptual.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's really, it follows kind of a flow from track one to the end, and it lends its. You might like certain songs more than others and just try to get that song, but I don't really suggest that. Like, I agree with you, man. It's really cool to do the album beginning to end and get the full flavor.
Actually, I forgot. Did the new Weezer album, was it this year?
Yeah,
Everything's
I think
gonna be
they
all right.
released them. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was Dr. Dre's Compton.
Oh, nice one. That's nice.
Yeah, I mean, I've loved his work. I got big to him when I was in high school. I went to a performing arts high school and for music. I even almost went to music production after hearing that album, 2001. And this one is just as different
It's so
from
different.
2001
So different.
as 2001 is from The Chronic. But it's still got the same.
I think it's the drums. I think he uses a lot of the same drums.
Yeah,
That's his
they're
signature.
there's the simple syncopated offbeat, something that he always has like a funky bass beat mixed with a high pitched whistle, almost like a some tune, some melodic,
Yeah, synthesizer.
something going up top, and he still has that, even when you think he creates it himself, usually it's sampled from something else, and he
course.
samples, like eight songs. He'll sample for just one track, and he's like, I just like the way that in the bridge, that bass line in the bridge, and I like this one intro to this one song, and I'm going to repeat that throughout the whole song. And I'm going to take this, and in that album, there are tracks where it's like three separate beats in one track, and it kind of builds up. Like, it's like, it
Polyrhythmic.
well, there's a couple of tracks that are like that, but like he'll start, the song with this one beat, and then he'll take out the top, and he'll let that go through what you think is the bridge, and he'll throw somebody else on it, and he'll add something else on top of that, and then he'll take out the bottom, and he'll leave the top, and he'll change the bottom, the bass line or something, and he'll keep the top going. So it's the same song, but it's not the same song. And you'll have 3 or 4 people come on it, and his usuals, and he even had some people that he hadn't collaborated with in, decades now, since The Chronic and since his NWA days. But then he also has the same, regular Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Exhibit that still make the appearance. Kendrick
He had one
Lamar.
song, with Eminem on there that was really good. The song with Kendrick Lamar is really good. I remember liking that song.
What about you, Dan?
I would go with one that's a little bit less, maybe a little bit less, popular. It's,
Taylor Swift?
oh man, there's,
Way more popular.
there was an album called Hot Streak by this band called the Winery Dogs. And, they didn't really get a lot of publicity, but each member of that band was famous for being in other bands previously. Like, they had, their drummer Mike Portnoy, who was famous for being in the band Dream Theater. They had a bassist named Billy Sheehan, who was famous for collaborating with Joe Satriani and being in this band called Mr. Big. And then they had their singer and guitar player, who was this dude named Richie Kotzen, who had a solo career for a while and was successful with that. And he used to play guitar for a while in Poison. But a lot of people, kind of thought it was, just going to write it off as being one of these cheesy sort of like 80s heavy metal bands, but they're really, really different. They're, to me, they remind me of a bluesy, like, Led Zeppelin meets Soundgarden kind of thing. And they flew under a lot of people's radar, but I think that their album was phenomenal. Some really, really good, catchy but technical music and great vocals. Really, really good album.
All right, nice. So as we're got a little backtracked, that Star Wars talk, we're gonna jump forward to your best personal moment of the year.
Warp Forward.
Warp forward. Yeah. Wormhole forward. Jose, what was your best personal moment of this year?
Best what?
Personal moment.
Personal moment.
Best thing that happened to you this year.
Getting married.
No, that's a great answer. That's a great answer.
Are you saying that because your wife's in another room?
With headphones. But
wink,
yes.
wink 3 times,
Does she
nod your
listen
head
to
twice.
this? Yeah. She listened to the podcast.
He's winking his head 4 times.
So it means very much.
And that's it? You want to go into that anymore?
No, just leave
No,
it at
just
that.
leave it at that.
No, it was great. It was great to get married and, lifelong commitment while getting it started.
Shit.
You
Make
said
it
that like
sound
you
so
just signed a
exciting.
lease for life.
You're like,
You're like, yeah, I got a good APR on it.
I guess I'm stuck with this. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
But you're not.
Yeah, Dan, you're not though.
Sorry, man. No. All right.
But you're not kidding.
What about you, bro? What happened? What's the best thing that happened to you?
I actually, I brewed my first beer, so that's kind of
nice.
That's awesome.
What kind was it?
It was supposed to be a classic American light lager. It was, all right, so I should qualify this. I cheated at brewing my first beer. I did a Mr. Beer kit.
That's not cheating. You're still
Nah,
brewing.
that's-
Yeah, it's so brilliant. Because you can change what type of sugar you use and
Right,
So I got a little experimental. I threw in some ginger, and I kind of fucked up on the water, so I ended up putting less water than I was supposed to.
Less is actually better than more.
Well, yeah, you
Trust
get
me
a
on
little
yeah,
water.
I would say that. I would agree with that
Something
as well.
stronger. Yeah.
Because the
and
first
put
one I
some
did
sugar.
was with a lot more, and it was.
My first one was a little watery too.
But yeah, I mean, nobody got sick, so I can.
Yeah, we tried it at the tailgate, so
That's cool.
it was okay.
Nice. What about you, Dan?
I mean, to think back from the beginning of the year till now, maybe becoming an uncle again to another girl. My sister had another child earlier in the year, so that was a big moment. Getting a new job, after being out of work for quite a while, that was nice.
Here.
Yeah, so, trying to move on up and shit. So that's cool too.
Dio!
Yeah. No, they're super like white and blonde. Yeah.
Dio!
They look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
The exact opposite of Miami Velvet.
Oh man.
Wrong time. Low hanging
Actually-
fruit.
You don't know. And now you have Stacy giving live birth.
Oh Jesus.
Miami Velvet.
The birth room.
Watch out because those sheets are dirty. They're still not going to wash the sheets after that.
Oh, look at the baby
Oh,
wrapped
there's
up in
any
unwashed
uterine
sheets.
fluid, it might cure something.
Oh.
Cure gonorrhea.
The cure for gonorrhea, endless amounts of cum.
That's not at all what I said. I don't know how you heard that.
It just doesn't sound
Well,
right
then you should
either.
be safe, man. Don't worry.
Okay.
I just caught that. Now.
Shit.
Yeah, I'm catching. For me, the best personal moment was starting this podcast. It came to me thank you. It's a terrible high five, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
Just came up as an idea, listening to some other podcasts, like by Kevin Smith and some of these other guys. And I said, I don't know, when I drink beer with my friends, I gotta say our conversation's a lot more interesting than this shit. And a lot funnier. And since we started, I think March 12th, we've had nearly 5,000 visitors to beerrose.com, beerrosebs.com. And with some of the highest visitors coming from China, Japan, Russia, Germany, UK, South Korea, Brazil, and Canada. And I'd say that, some of the crazy places I've seen, Afghanistan, Iraq, Egypt, South Africa. It's just fucking crazy to me how, some little idea I took and I just kept pushing it and said, it was the whole, and he tells his story a lot. He's almost like a motivational speaker, Kevin Smith of, the director and Comic Book Man and all this stuff. And he says, why not? Whenever you have an idea, do it. Why not? Don't say no. If it doesn't work, you tried something and it failed. But if it works, who knows? And it's just something crazy for me to fathom, to think that this idea that we had, the little corny ass picture I have on our website, our Beer Bros BS guy, that icon, that people in Egypt have seen it, and Iraq,
That's amazing, man.
Turkey. It's like most of Europe.
Yeah, if somebody that's not in the U.S. is following us right now,
We love you.
Hit us up. We'll hook you up with a gift. I'll personally do it. That's amazing.
Well, you heard that from Dan. So if you're outside the U.S.,
Yeah,
hit us up and you'll get a free gift.
You didn't say what it was gonna be.
No, I didn't.
And who knows what it'll be.
No,
You might not want
Given
it.
the conversation we've had today.
Remember, gonorrhea is not curable.
Wait, no, it's totally one of the curable ones.
And
Yes, it is.
Dan doesn't have it, though. So
No, I don't, thankfully. Anyway.
If it's a condom, don't use it.
all right, so just everybody,
Redemption high five.
thanks for being here, guys. I love you all.
Hey,
thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, be safe
Yeah,
at New
bro.
Year's.
Cheers, everybody.
Just to everybody.
Happy New
Cheers.
Year, man.
So that brings us to our fourth and final beer of the night, end of the year.
Yeah, so we have Holiday, a triple rye black IPA or Cascadian Ale from Black Market in Temecula, California, founded in 2009. So they're actually they're newcomers by California craft beer standards. The beer is, hold on, I got this somewhere. Beer is 11.2%, 86 IBUs. They used experimental hops, Citra, and Mosaic. So that's why you got that wonderful citrusy, piney
that's good, dude.
Flavor profile. I was pretty surprised to find out that they used pale malts.
Really?
And actually, just so you know, all this information was given from their website. So I love it. Fucking love it when these breweries put this shit up there. I'm fucking geeking out.
Stone also does that too on their
Stone does
bottles.
it too.
I'd have to say this beer hides that 11.2% really well.
Wait, this is
it had-
11.2? Wow.
It hides the ABV very well, and it also it is so hoppy that I don't mind the roasty malt characteristic, which is not so. I don't really like black IPAs. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a fan of the stuff.
The rye helps.
The rye helps a lot. This
Big
is
time.
This is
That's really, really
and normally
tasty.
I'm not big on rye things.
this is drinkable. I like this.
For 11.2, man, the flavor is amazing.
And usually,
You know what
when
it is?
That's a triple IPA.
It's almost that the hops hides that 11.2%.
Yeah,
it's so bitter.
hoppy. No, it's incredibly hoppy.
It's delicious, though.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I think it's
very good.
And it's almost like if you put it on your palate, on your tongue, it hits so many different spots on your tongue than what you normally would hit. From the malt, from the rye, from all the different types
You
of
get
hops.
like a little rice spiciness almost.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But you said that you were surprised about the pale.
Yeah.
Most beers, they actually do use the base. So what happens is that the base malts are usually the pale malts, right? And what they use to actually turn it black is usually something like Black Patent, like more kilned malts.
Okay.
Like at like that is just like a pound or two, or like
Just for the color.
yeah, just for the color and for the roastiness flavor. But you don't use those like the black malts. You don't use like 100% black malt because it's like too roasty. So you want to give it body with pale.
What I
Like
was
even
trying
like a Russian Imperial Stout will have like that pale malt.
Yeah, it's got a great aroma too. I mean, it smells kind of piney, kind of real herbal, like you know,
herbaceous.
kind of like weed.
Yeah, it's
A
dank.
little,
This
it's
is for sure
dank. It's
Well,
dank as fuck. Yeah.
This is a very
Well,
dank beer. For
yeah.
sure.
That what you taste, the dankness is actually Mosaic. That like little
Yeah.
it's almost like garlic, but
yeah,
it's not quite.
Yeah.
That's Mosaic.
Okay. Because it's got the
But that citrusy
That sort of
aftertaste is the
Citra,
Citra.
right? Yeah. I mean, the smell. It's got that herbal, you know, weedy kind of smell
But-
to it.
Also, as a side note, weed is actually the same genus as the
As hop,
they are
as hops.
Yeah. Yeah, they're little
They're
buds.
cousins.
They look
They're
similar.
cousins that play well together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys, we're going to jump forward a little bit. What burns your bacon? For me, I don't know if I've talked about this. I think I've said it. I brought it up in the past about people who smack their food.
Yeah, we've talked about this.
But for me,
Their food.
yeah, that
like chew with their mouth open. Ah, I see.
for me, I have to. I might have thrown this in there, but maybe not officially. People who smack their gum,
Oh, dude.
and it's
When
something.
you make those like crack sounds with it and shit.
No, mijo.
Oh,
And if you go up and you're asking somebody a question, it's like, "Can I ask you something?" It's just, and what
fucking
bothers
hate
me
that.
so much is I know that same thing bothers my mother to the point that she wouldn't, if she saw me with gum in the house as a child, she'd take it, she'd throw it away, I'd get hit. It was like to the point, I was like, you should live in the Philippines where gum is illegal. Like she's like, sounds like a great law.
they'll cane you if you have it.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing,
Yeah.
Come on,
and it
man.
bothers me. That's how much she hates it. And I hate that it bothers me so much. But man, that burns my bacon.
Frying eggs burns your bacon. Come on, man.
Jose, what burns your bacon?
Insomnia. When you can't fucking go to sleep and everything around you just fucking bothers you.
I understand what the definition of insomnia is.
Dick.
I just fucking with you. He gave me this look. I'm like, damn, bitch.
Yeah, when you can't go to sleep and it's like you first have. I just recently got cats.
But
I
that
had-
may not be insomnia. That might be what you have is catsonomia.
Yeah.
Because they're running around. You're like, what the fuck are they into now?
Yeah, you might have heard them in the podcast. We're sorry about that, but no. So it was like the first day, and I had them in bed, and I just got like my eyes got swollen, and it's like, oh man, this is not a good idea, and fucking, and I'm like, fuck, I have to
Allergies
go
are
to
fun,
work.
yeah.
I have to go to work the next day, and it's always like so stressful. Fuck, I have to go to sleep. Okay, concentrate on sleeping. Fuck, I can't do it. Like,
And then you just hear,
yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
what are those cats doing? And then there's silence, and you're like, oh, they went to sleep. And just before you fall asleep.
Yeah, and then it's like then I'm like, oh fuck, that TV's too bright. Okay, turn off the TV. Okay, go. Okay, oh, the LED on my fucking phone is too, turn over the phone. Like,
You know what I've done? I've conditioned myself now. Dan can attest. We've shared many rooms before in our life. I could sleep, from college. I can sleep with the lights on as bright as hell. I can sleep with the TV on, with stereo blasting music as loud as possible. That will not keep me up. If I want to sleep, I'll sleep. I can cut everything out. But now I've conditioned myself to turn everything off, pitch black. And I have a playlist on Spotify of sleepy classical music that's like almost up to 50 followers, random people that found that playlist. It is a great fucking playlist. When I hear those songs now, my eyes start drooping. The eyelids start getting heavy. My breathing slows. Those songs now, when I hear those songs, they knock me out for me. Don't need to do anything. It's just last night I forgot to set my alarm. Good thing my body automatically wakes up when I have to get up now, but perfect. I've conditioned myself with that playlist to I hear that music and it's just, as everyone who's listening is already doing.
Yeah, hopefully not though, but maybe.
Yeah, man. Shit.
What about you, Alex? What brings you bacon?
Man, what burns my bacon? What doesn't burn my bacon? I mean, fucking cell phone plans, movie theater ticket prices, dating in Miami.
Pick one for the final year. What burns your bacon this year? What burned your bacon the worst this year?
Movie theaters have gotten so goddamn expensive, man. I mean, I remember being able to go like 2 tickets, $20, no problem. That doesn't exist anymore, man. I mean,
well, you know what's happening too. My dad is like, fuck movie theaters. I'd rather watch Star Wars 3 months from now.
well, that's another thing. Is like, would you rather go to the movie theater or have a badass home entertainment system?
Well, here's the thing. I've seen the movie 3 times now, twice in Cine Bistro. So if you don't know what Cine Bistro is, it's a small theater that has in-theater dining, and it's a little more pricey, about $5 more a ticket, but it's 21 and over, and the theater maybe holds 50 people. Maybe.
If that, yeah.
I mean,
And their projectors are
the same size.
You know,
everything.
pretty
And, you know,
good, yeah.
The seats are
They're love seats.
They're
yeah. They're love seats. With, they have a divider in the middle if you want to have it down. So they're oversized, comfortable seats.
If you're not getting any that night.
I mean, it's so much more comfortable.
Do you get a popcorn bucket so you can stick a hole through it?
Actually, it's a glass bowl, so
God.
you'd have to have a diamond tip.
Yeah, I'm not
that.
gonna put my cock through a glass bowl with a hole on it. I'm sorry. Shave.
Well, and I took my mother to see it at the Falls, which is just a regular movie theater, and I tell you, I fucking regret it. Just walking into that theater and just seeing everyone in there, I was like, fuck, I should have,
They closed the one in the
Fucking
the
peasants.
Malls of
Mall
America.
of
Exactly. You know what? I did think that fucking peasant. I should have paid the extra $10 for 2 tickets, and we could have been sitting. They could have escorted us to our seats, and would have been exactly where I fucking picked them.
I mean, I hate to be this elitist, but I actually got to sit at the club level in Sun Life Stadium since the renovations. And as soon as I walked into the concourse, I was just like, oh, thank God we're away from the rabble. Like, this is just so much more comfortable.
I said,
here.
I've been club level a few times, and the
It's-
same thing. It's like you look
Their
around, you're
concession
like,
stand is awesome. Their bathrooms are nicer.
Yeah, everything
Yeah,
is so much nicer.
I know it's like, wait,
And there's like a little.
I'm used to my grimy
They
ass.
have the museums. All the
and
nice shit is
and it's
there.
like, what's the advantage of sitting here? It's like, well, the people above you can tell you when it starts raining.
Yeah.
it's like that's that seems so much nicer. It's like
It's
I'm
worth
like,
I sat for one
what
game,
about
I
it?
was
Well, like,
I
what
don't
if you're
know
sitting
it's
lower?
because those seats are like $1,000.
No, it's 500.
They're-
Well, it depends what.
Yeah,
It really depends, and you can get them. We almost bought club level season tickets before.
It wasn't that bad.
It really wasn't
But
that
not
bad.
since the renovations.
No, not since the
Now
renovations.
prices have gone so.
It was something like for one club level seat, and we're gonna do them both. It was something like 500 for the season.
For the whole season?
For the whole season.
No way.
And the guy was like, "Look, if you don't go to every game, are you gonna go to every game?" And I was like, "Honestly, not." He said, "You 3-4 games you can make back, out of 8. Not because no one buys preseason. You can make your money back in 3 or 4 tickets for $125, and those will sell real quick. If you want, if you don't want to go to the Jets or the Patriots, I think that year we played the Broncos." And Tim Tebow had just got drafted, so like everyone's gonna go to that game. If you don't go to that game, you can easily sell your ticket for $200-300. And the guy said, "Some asshole from Gainesville will totally buy that." And I was like, you know what?
that's true.
Make the money back in one swoop like that. And the guy had called me for like 2 years after that. It's like, hey, you want to buy the tickets? Oh, we can still renew them. Yeah, you can still do it. Yeah.
Nah.
I actually got club tickets there for a soccer game a couple years ago.
Yeah, for Manchester United and Liverpool.
And that was pretty nice.
I mean, the concourse has a carving station
Yeah,
now.
it's beautiful.
What?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The
Yeah.
amenities are just incredible.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like, I went there during the last hurricane game, the home game, and it was just like fucking pouring, and I just see everybody just like run up the stairs or whatever. And I'm just like, yep, I'm under the shelter.
But even
It's
then,
all
like,
good.
while I was sitting in those club level seats, I was kind of like, I might enjoy the game better in the air conditioning of the concourse, like with
Yeah,
these
exactly.
giant TVs around me. And
Knowing that
leather
you could just
seats.
look outside and see the game if you want.
Yeah, if I want,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
I felt like I can bear the heat for
It's
a little while.
almost like if you just had a big ass suite.
Yeah.
Almost.
You got to share it with some people,
Yeah,
but not many people.
it's
Or not
basically
crowded.
that. Yeah.
I mean, the other areas are super crowded.
Oh my God. Yeah. And you have to
Everybody's
deal with
drunk.
that riffraff.
No, everybody's bumping into each other. You kind of feel like chattel. It's just
No, yeah. Your seats are a little bigger. It's
the seats are so comfortable. They're
Yeah.
padded now.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
butt and the
really?
back is padded,
Yeah.
and I think they're a little wider. It is
Yeah,
spectacular. I had a fantastic time. Shout out to George and Justin Metcalf. Thanks for hooking me up.
You can always hook us up at beerbrosbs.com. Have to throw that out there.
BeerBrosBS@gmail.com to email us as well.
No shame here. So, Dan, what burns your bacon this year?
In general, what's been burning my bacon are one-uppers. People that, like, always have to do something a little bit.
Is it a one-upper or a me too?
No, it's a me too, but more. Like, you say, oh man, I only got like
You just one-upped his statement.
you go.
You're a one-upper.
And I win. Of course. Thank you for pointing that out, Jose.
No, but I'm saying
This has been a BeerBrosBS.com production. You can find everything on. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
motherfucker. No, I'm saying like for example, you go, oh man, I'm so tired. I only got like 4 hours of sleep. And then this other asshole would be like, yeah, man, but I only got 2. Whatever. Shit like that. Or you could be like, yeah, I just got this new TV. I'm, excited to hook it up and check it out. They'll go, oh yeah, bro, I got an 80-inch HD in my living room that I don't even fucking use. Shit like that. Or,
But isn't yours 85?
nah, man, but shit like that just, it just burns my bacon when, they can't just be like, oh yeah, that's great, cool, whatever. But they've got to like,
Double tap and scroll.
they've got to be like, oh yeah, but I'm still better. That shit burns my bacon. You know what I mean? What else have you encountered something like that?
Never.
Bullshit.
Because you're always one-upping, or
Because I'm always one-upping everybody. My life
You
is the
just fucking
best.
did it again. You
My
bitch.
life is the best and worst in the world. It's the best and worst in the world.
envy of all.
It
other
was the best
guys.
of times. It was the worst of times.
Oh,
My
you
life
had
is a
Mark-
Dickens.
Oh, we're kind of guilty of that too. Oh yeah, Marshall's a cup. Oh yeah, I had the brandy barrel too. Yeah, oh, it was great.
It's a little bit of that, but like if you say, "Oh man, I had such a bad day. Mine was worse,"
no, now you're just being a little bitch.
that's basically what it is.
So let me ask you guys, what was your favorite beer of the episode?
They were all really good, man. Shit, that's a tough one.
It's a toss-up for me between the Acadian Groove Canadian Maple Porter and the Black Market Holiday. I really like both of those beers a lot.
I'm gonna
very
have to-
different flavors, but very
Yeah.
enjoyable both.
Yeah, very different. I'm gonna have to go with the Acadian Groove. Everything I've tasted from Flying Monkeys has been superb. What about you, Jose?
You know what? They're both each into their own.
Yeah.
I actually like the black market. I like the black market.
And Dan?
Acadian Groove was very good. I enjoyed that maple syrupy,
Hell yeah! I put that
It's a
shit in my
great flavor.
fucking food.
Dude, Flying Monkeys has been fucking hitting home runs so far.
They have been
Yeah.
great to this show.
I want more.
Yeah, I like black market as an IPA, but I love this thing as like a dessert stuff. Like, oh my god.
Don't you wish we had a little more of that? You could make another float.
Yeah, I know.
Mm.
But I give it to my wife. I love you, sweetie.
She's not paying any attention to us. So, guys, as always, remember you can you can send your questions or comments to us Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're facebook.com/beerbrosbs. Twitter @beerbrosbs. Same thing on Instagram. You can find us on Untapped @beerbrosbs. We'll rank all of our beer there. Email anything to us, beerbrosbs@gmail.com. Everything you can find on our website, beerbrosbs.com. As always, you can find the podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, and...
Podcast addict.
All right, so again, thank you. I'm Dave, the Big Librarian. You can also find me contributing on toughgnarl.com, TUFFGNARL.com.
Jose.
Alex?
And I'm Dan.
All right, good night, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers. Please don't break my glass.